Imagine a world where wisdom thrives among young people, in the most unexpected places. A world where the line between what we can and can't see blurs into magic and mystery. In the heart of the Kongo kingdom, a boy named Lesage emerged. His intelligence and insight created new opportunities for his people. This isn't just a story about a gifted child. It's a saga that explores the depths of black magic, where old rituals meet the innocent curiosity of a young mind. Nestled in the heart of Africa, the Kongo Kingdom was a tapestry of lively cultures and deep-rooted traditions. Its people were known for their rich heritage and communal way of life, emphasizing respect and unity. In this community, everyone had a role to play for the common good, from the elders who held the wisdom of generations past to the youngest children who brought joy and hope. The kingdom wasn't just a place on a map, it was a living, breathing entity, colored by the stories and spirits of those who lived there. This was the world Koffi and his son, Lesage, lived in. A world where the past and present danced to the rhythm of daily life. Koffi was a simple man. His life was ordinary to many, but it was filled with the richness of contentment and community. But within his humble existence, a remarkable jewel shone bright: his son, Lesage. From a very young age, Lesage showed signs of an extraordinary mind. His questions pierced the veil of ordinary understanding, and his insights often left the village elders in thoughtful silence. While other children played with toys made of wood and string, Lesage played with ideas, crafting toys from the threads of his imagination. Koffi, though often puzzled by his son's profound thoughts, was immensely proud. He knew Lesage was destined for greatness, a gift not just to their family, but to the entire kingdom. Lesage's childhood was marked by an insatiable curiosity. He absorbed knowledge like the earth absorbs rain, eagerly and endlessly. Whether it was the stars dotting the night sky or the intricate patterns of the local flora, nothing escaped his keen observation. Teachers and scholars from neighboring villages often visited, drawn by tales of a boy whose intelligence promised a new era of understanding. They brought books and scrolls, each page a window into new worlds of thought and theory. Lesage devoured them all, each bit of knowledge fueling the growing fire of his young wisdom. Yet, for all his intellectual pursuits, Lesage remained grounded. He understood that true wisdom lay not just in learning, but in applying one's knowledge for the betterment of all. His gifts, he knew, were not his alone, but for the service of his people. Lesage wasn't just any child in the eyes of his village. He was a beacon of potential. The elders saw in him the future, a leader who could one day elevate their community to new heights. His peers, though sometimes bewildered by his depth, respected his natural authority and innate kindness. Questions about life and the universe that baffled even the most seasoned minds found new and exciting answers in Lesage's dialogues. His ability to connect with both the young and the old bridged gaps and strengthened the community's fabric. It was this blend of wisdom and approachability that made him a beloved figure across generations. As expectations grew, so did the belief that Lesage would usher them into an era of unprecedented prosperity. The village waited, watched, and wondered just how far their young sage would go. Koffi, in his simplicity, had always steered clear of the arcane. However, as his son's reputation grew, so did the pressures and expectations upon him. Seeking to secure his family's future, Koffi unknowingly formed alliances with figures whose power stemmed from darker sources. One evening, under the guise of friendship, members of a local clan of sorcerers invited Koffi to a feast. Unbeknownst to him, the meal served was not just a gesture of goodwill, but a binding pact laced with shadows. The goat meat and cassava leaves he consumed were laced with enchantments, sealing his fate with the clan. This pact wasn't just a social agreement, it was a spiritual contract, binding Koffi's destiny to forces beyond his comprehension. It was a decision that would soon have consequences he could never have imagined. The night air was thick with the smell of incense and the murmur of ancient chants. Koffi, caught in a web he hadn't seen being woven, found himself at the heart of a sorcery ritual. The clan had gathered in his own home, their forms flickering like shadows cast by a wavering flame. As the ritual progressed, Koffi was instructed to perform acts he never thought himself capable of. Hands shaking, he sacrificed the chicken, the blood spreading over symbols drawn in the dust of his floor. Each drop seemed to pull him deeper into a world he never intended to enter. By morning, the physical traces of the ritual were gone, but the spiritual ties were irrevocably woven. Koffi had stepped into a realm balanced precariously between the seen and the unseen. In the days that followed, Koffi's world transformed. Shadows whispered secrets in the daytime, and the wind seemed to call his name. His nights were restless, haunted by dreams that felt far too real. The line between reality and the mystical blurred, leaving Koffi questioning what was truly real. His family noticed the changes. The once jovial and grounded man began speaking in riddles and was often found staring into space, as if watching scenes visible only to him. This shift didn't escape Lesage, who watched his father with a mixture of concern and a budding determination to uncover the truth. Koffi, now a prisoner of unseen forces, found himself instinctively performing rituals and incantations, as if guided by a force beyond his control. His life, once simple and unremarkable, had become a tapestry of enigmatic symbols and unsolicited visions. Lesage, wise beyond his years, knew something profound and unsettling had ensnared his father. Determined to help Koffi, he immersed himself in the ancient lore of their land, seeking wisdom from old texts and the sage advice of village elders. His journey led him to dusty scrolls and forgotten tales that spoke of rituals and counterspells, of battles fought in the shadows that shaped the very fabric of their kingdom. Lesage's quest wasn't just for knowledge, but for a way to break the dark tendrils that held his father captive. Piece by piece, he untangled the threads, his understanding deepening with each discovery. The young sage was no longer just a student of the seen world, but a warrior in the subtle realms of the unseen. Lesage's investigations brought him face to face with arcane wisdom and forgotten practices. He discovered that the pact his father unknowingly entered was tied to ancient and potent magic, deeply rooted in their land's history. The rituals Koffi had been compelled to perform were part of a larger, darker scheme, tied to the sorcerer's clan's desire to control both the physical and spiritual realms. Armed with this knowledge, Lesage sought a way to counter the black magic. He learned of a ritual, one capable of breaking the pact but requiring a purity of heart and unwavering courage, qualities Lesage had cultivated since childhood. The stakes were high, for failure meant not just his father's demise but the strengthening of the dark forces. Preparations began under the veil of night, Lesage gathering rare herbs and sacred objects as outlined in the ancient texts. The air crackled with palpable tension as the night of the counter-ritual approached. The night was moonless, the darkness absolute, as Lesage commenced the counter-ritual. The air vibrated with the sounds of ancient words, the sounds almost tangible. Around him, shadows seemed to pulsate, reacting to the power being invoked. Lesage held firm, his voice steady as he recited the incantations. As the ritual reached its peak, the ground trembled beneath him and a wind picked up as if answering his call. The clash between light and darkness wasn't just metaphorical. It manifested in the swirling leaves and the dramatically flickering flames of the candles that surrounded him. Finally, with a cry that seemed to echo across realms, Lesage completed the ritual. A sudden stillness fell over the area, the wind receding as quickly as it had risen. The outcome was uncertain, and the seconds stretched into an eternity as Lesage waited for a sign. Restoration and reflection. The first sign of success came with the morning sun. Koffi awoke from a restless sleep, his mind clearer than it had been in months. The shadows that had whispered in his ear were silent, and the air felt lighter, purer. Lesage's ritual had worked, the pact was broken, and the evil influence lifted. Slowly, the village learned of the events that had transpired, and Lesage's already considerable reputation soared. He was not just a scholar and a sage, but a protector, a warrior of light who had faced darkness and triumphed. With restoration came reflection. Lesage and the village elders pondered the implications of what had occurred. Knowledge and power, especially of the mystical kind they realized required safeguards, wisdom in their application. By breaking the Dark Pact, Lesage had set a precedent for how such forces could be approached and managed. The legacy of Lesage. Lesage's actions didn't just save his father, they set a new standard for leadership in the village. His blend of wisdom, courage, and humility inspired many. and he became a respected leader not just in his own village but in surrounding regions as well. His legacy was one of balance between the old and the new, the seen and the unseen, the mundane and the magical. Under his guidance, the village experienced an era of prosperity and peace, his wisdom paving the way for a harmonious coexistence with both the natural and the supernatural. As Lesage grew old, he continued to teach, passing on his knowledge to the next generation, ensuring that the lessons learned from the dark times were not forgotten, but served as guideposts for the future. Cultural and ethical implications. The events that unfolded in the Congo went beyond mere tales of magic and courage. They touched upon profound cultural and ethical themes. The interplay between traditional beliefs and modern ethics formed a complex tapestry of challenges and opportunities for the village. Lesage's story reminds us of the importance of respecting and understanding one's heritage while remaining vigilant about the ethical use of knowledge and power. It sparked conversations about how communities can safeguard against the abuse of power and the responsibility of those gifted with exceptional abilities. Conclusion. The story of Lesage of the Congo is a vibrant tapestry, woven with threads of mystery, magic, and the eternal dance of light and darkness. It teaches us about the power of wisdom and the importance of courage, reminding us that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, the light of knowledge and the purity of intention can prevail. As we reflect on Lesage's journey, we're reminded of the responsibilities that come with power and the importance of using our abilities for the greater good. His legacy, a blend of myth and reality, continues to inspire those who seek to balance the mystical and the practical, the ancient and the modern, the spiritual and the earthly. In the end, Lesage of the Congo is not just a tale of the past. It's a beacon for the future, illuminating the path toward a wiser, more enlightened existence.